Inspire 2021, what a fantastic night we had. Thanks to our generous donors, we raised over $200,000 and we're still counting. Just can't believe it. Thank you so much to everybody who participated.
It was really great, wasn't it, Nick? I mean, who would have thought the second year in a row of presenting the event on a virtual basis, and it blew away our wildest expectations. But you know what? Our supporters have always been there for us. So it was not a surprise, but we're just grateful to them.
Absolutely. So, what we're going to do now is I'm going to pass it on to myself, who actually I introduced the program. So let's start with the first video. Over to Nick.
Good evening and welcome to Inspire 2021, NorCal SCI's 4th annual fundraising party, and what a party we have in store for you tonight. For those of you who don't know me, please do not adjust your sound. I am speaking English, and if you can't get the hang of it, just look at the subtitles below. We are honoured to have you join us this evening. NorCal SCI could not do the great work we are doing for the SCI community without your continued generous support. So to all of our donors out there, especially our angel investors, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick, and good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us again virtually for the second year in a row. We are coming to you tonight without one of our biggest supporters, a board member, a true friend, an incredible resource to the community, and the host of our past 3 Inspire parties, Chris Wilder. Just about 7 months ago, Chris experienced a major stroke. While Nick and I are accustomed to meeting and being with individuals who experience a life-altering spinal cord injury, this event involving Chris hit too close to home for us because of the many similarities between a stroke and SCI. Chris spent just about 6 months in the hospital and rehab before going home in late August, where he continues to work hard in order to maximize his recovery.
I first met Chris in the spring of 2016 at his office in San Jose. To say that I was new to the world of making a difference to those in need would be an understatement. The fact that Chris took the time out of his busy schedule to meet with this unknown stranger speaks volumes on who he is. After listening to what I had to say, Chris immediately offered me some guidance, but more importantly, his commitment to support me pursue my vision of making a difference to the SCI community in the Bay Area. I skipped out of his office knowing that I had made a friend and ally of one of the most caring and capable leaders in the community. From that day forward, Chris not only continued to support our goals at NorCal SCI, but quickly became a mentor and friend in the process. Whatever I do with Chris, playing golf, drinking wine, interacting with him at our board meetings, or just hanging out, it really is just fun.
Chris and his wife Kate have been great supporters of NorCal SCI from the very beginning. It was a special day for the NorCal SCI team when Chris accepted our invitation to join our board. We know you are both watching right now and wanted to let you know that NorCal SCI is dedicating this evening to you both. You have already come such a long way in your recovery, Chris, and we know there is much more to come. On behalf of the entire organization, we wish you the very best. And as a message to all of you, 80% of strokes are preventable. So please learn how to spot the early signs of stroke by going to www.stroke.org so that we can all be as helpful to the people around us who may one day experience this.
Over 3 years ago, when myself, my wife Julia and Franklin embarked on our first Inspire fundraising event, to be honest, we were clueless. I knew our friends Colin and Carly McNabb had been doing this successfully for many years, and when I asked them if they would help the rookies out, they graciously accepted. We had no idea how much work was involved, but Colin and Caroline did, which made it all the more remarkable that they committed their energy and expertise, which made our first event a huge success. Colin and Caroline have been there with us all along the entire Inspire series, and NorCal SCI has benefited so much from their experience and generosity. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to our MC for this evening's event. Over to you, Mr. Colin McNabb. I know that you're going to get this party going.
Well, good evening, everybody. I hope you're well. Thank you, Nick and Franklin, for that warm introduction. It's a lot to live up to. No pressure, guys, huh?
Colin did a remarkable job filling in for Chris. He's not Chris. He's not a professional auctioneer, but he did a great job. So, we had fun working with Colin. It was a lot of fun.
It was great.
Yeah. The next segment, our good friends and great supporters, Chris and Jennifer Bridgman, do a bit of a summary of what we did in 2021. So stick around. You'll learn a lot of what we've done. And Chris and Jen do a great job explaining it.
Good evening. My name is Chris.
And I'm Jennifer, and we are the Bridgman family. Some of you may recognize us from the last in-person Inspire fundraising party held back in 2019 at the Glass House in San Jose.
It's been a year since we all got together around a video screen for this event. We certainly didn't think that we'd be back to a normal life by now, and as such, NorCal SCI has continued to adjust its programs supporting the SCI community during the ongoing pandemic.
While expanding on its existing programs, NorCal SCI has also introduced new initiatives this year, bringing much-needed opportunities and technologies to those in need. So let's do a quick recap of some of their marquee programs and services during the past year. Our weekly virtual peer support meetings at the 3 major rehabilitation hospitals in Northern California are a vital connection for the newly injured, since visitations to all medical facilities continue to be restricted. The virtual aspect of these meetings also allows many of the newly injured to continue re-engaging with the peer supporters while continuing their recovery at home. We have also continued hosting weekly virtual meetups for others in the community as well.
The Care Package program ensures the newly injured and their loved ones get access to vital information and resources as they begin their recovery. This past year, we increased the number of individuals served by shipping more backpacks to recently discharged patients and directly engaged with 2 smaller rehab facilities to ensure their patients have access to this valuable resource.
Back in February, I fell off a roof while working as a solar technician and suffered a spinal cord injury, which left me paralyzed from the neck down. During rehab at Santa Clara Valley Medical Center, I found the weekly Zoom calls so important in connecting me with the SCI peers. It gave me real insight into what was possible after such a devastating injury. While in Santa Clara, I received the Care Package backpack, which is packed full of valuable information and resources. I left inpatient rehab that very same day. My newly born daughter Avery Rose and my fiancée Bella were discharged from the maternity unit at the very same hospital. While in the rehab, it was difficult trying to comprehend what was going on with my life, but looking down at my daughter for the first time, it just felt that life now made sense. As I continue my recovery from home with my new family, being able to join the weekly Zoom calls has become an important component in my recovery program. It has shown me there is hope after SCI. It also gives me the opportunity to convey this to other newly injured patients as they come to terms with their injury.
Our donated medical equipment program continues to be an essential resource for many individuals who do not have the proper insurance coverage or financial means for basic medical equipment. We are regularly contacted by caring therapists, matching their patients' essential needs to the comprehensive listings of such items on our website. One of the beneficiaries of this program was Raymond, who had this to say: "The aluminum and threshold ramps donated to NorCal SCI that I received give me the freedom to access the garage and workspace I hadn't been in since my accident."
The popular Road to Recovery grant program continues to support individuals across Northern California by funding exercise therapy sessions or purchase of equipment not covered by insurance or due to a lack of financial resources. Without this critical program, the needs of many would not have been met. Ruben, a recipient of the grant, had this to say: I just want to say thank you to NorCal SCI and its donors for helping me get this functional trainer system that allows me to maintain a healthy body and my mental well-being while exercising at my home, particularly during the ongoing pandemic. This is just amazing.
Building on the success of last year's virtual programming and with the support of our donors, we have continued to produce dozens of our hugely popular virtual events, developing a loyal following not just in Northern California, but across the country and overseas. Few other SCI organizations produce the caliber and frequency of these events like NorCal SCI does. And for our audience, it has become an informed, unbiased, and credible source of information. The virtual SCI consultation program has been another one of many silver linings as a result of the pandemic. Since we were last together, 18 individuals and their family members have benefited from their interaction with our experienced team of SCI medical professionals that include Rebecca Hummel-Moore, Carol Adler-Hughes, Shelley Wood, and Aaron Hallett.
When Devin was 10 years old, he was diagnosed with a spinal cord tumor. He had surgery, and after that surgery, he suffered a spinal cord injury secondary to the surgery. And at that time, we were really focused on the tumor. So when NorCal SCI made these virtual consultations available, it was really great for us to be able to speak with the medical professionals and make sure we were on the right track with respect to his care. So I'd like to thank the whole team of medical professionals, especially Carol Adler, who really went above and beyond in teaching us about some of the things that resources that are available to us.
Devin, who is now 14, has certainly come a long way in his recovery. His mom, Liesel, and his dad, Brian, must be such proud parents.
Partnering with Berkeley-based BORP, NorCal SCI launched the very first adaptive cycling program in the South Bay during May at the beautiful Vasona Park and Lake in Los Gatos. 22 individuals with SCI of all ages experienced the fun of cycling around the variety of trails thanks to the expert assistance of the BORP team, who brought over a variety of adaptive cycles for every ability. For many of the participants, this was their first time on an adaptive cycle.
Earlier this year, I was at Vasona Park in Los Gatos, trying out the NorCal SCI adaptive cycling program. I had so much fun with my dad exploring the trails there.
Devin and his fellow cyclists are excited about doing this again on a regular basis, and we're currently working on a plan to make that happen.
Last year, we introduced you to our Smart Home Independence Initiative to bring technology into the homes of individuals to enhance their independence and security. Partnering with OnTech for the assessment and installation of Google Nest products has enabled us to scale the program appropriately. Fast forward to today. We have already made a difference in the lives of 5 quadriplegics and their loved ones living across Northern California. Here's what a few recipients of this program had to say. Jesse from Fresno. I needed this the day I got home from the hospital. You've made my life so much easier. A life changer. Russell from Colfax had this to say. It's a lifesaver. I feel more secure and connected. The feedback on the installation by OnTech technicians speaks for itself. Here is what Randy from Murphy's had to say. Very professional. The entire team was great. We are on track to complete our goal of changing the lives of 10 individuals this year with this much needed technology. Well, that was a bit of a whirlwind tour. But for those interested in learning more about our services, and yes, we offer much more, and the specifics of our program, then please be sure to check out our annual report on our website.
We could not have done this without your generous support. And on behalf of NorCal SCI, we thank you.
All right. This year we had some incredible support from our sponsors, Waymo, ride-hailing service, Booster Fuels Mobile Fueling, Permobil Foundation, and Heritage Bank of Commerce, who together, along with a generous donation from Dan and Amy Scrivener, really gave us a big boost when it came to our pledge segment, which we'll talk about later. But we're grateful to these sponsors.
Yeah, that was $50,000, Franklin, right off the bat. That gave us a big boost to make the night very successful.
Yeah, and we'll talk about how successful the night was and what contributed to it a little bit later. But in our next segment, we're going to talk about the amazing journey that this one family took. But before we go there, Nick and I want to acknowledge our board of directors and the big role that they play in our success. They include Dave Greenfield, Carl McGlue, Julie Pollitt, Arash Bayat-McCoo, and of course, Trisha Lawrence, who's our newest member. Trisha, whose daughter Jo Marie experienced a spinal cord injury in 2019, is featured in this next segment. So let's watch this together.
Sure.
I was pursuing acting before everything. I was living in LA and I was taking a bunch of acting classes and I was working in restaurants as a side hustle. And then I moved to New York and I decided to do a 2-year acting conservatory, which was amazing, super fun. And then it was Christmas 2019 and my family decided to go to Whistler. We were avid snowboarders.
For the 26-year-old Jo Marie Lawrence, Christmas of 2019 will be one holiday that she would never, ever forget.
On the second day, I had a snowboarding accident.
While snowboarding, Jo experienced a catastrophic fall which impacted her neck, resulting in a spinal cord injury. She underwent a 4-hour surgery to stabilize her neck, but the damage had already taken place, leaving Jo with paralysis below her chest and dependent on a ventilator for breathing.
Yeah, it was an interesting prognosis, because it was, with spinal cord injuries, it's not cut and dry as to what it'll be. It's very hard to tell anyone. And how he described it to me was, if you had a scale from good to bad, Jo was more closer to the bad side of things rather than the good side of things. What does that mean? He couldn't really tell me what that meant, but there was going to be loss of functionality, and they had no way of really telling how bad. But what they saw when they did the surgery was, there was some damage there, some nerve damage. So it was closer to the bad than the good.
In the early days of Jo's accident, I have just a very blurred memory of what life was like. Jo was in hospital. We were there every day. We didn't know what was really going to happen. We had no clue what a spinal cord injury was. And it was just a living hell, really. We got up in the morning, we went to the hospital, we stayed there till we really felt that she might go to sleep at night, and then we went to bed, and then we got up and did the same thing over and over and over.
Not very many can quite comprehend the relation between the spinal cord and the functioning of the body.
I was scared. I was terrified. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what my future was. I was devastated. I cried all the time. I was trying not to cry all the time. I was angry and pissed off at myself because I felt like it was my fault, and if I had only done something completely different in like a second, this wouldn't have happened. And yeah, I was just really, really upset.
Insurance companies, who are financial institutions and do not seem to see past the fact that somebody's in a wheelchair and that the funds that they have given them so far have only got them to a certain point in their lives, that there would be so much more progress made if they were given funds for other medical equipment, for more physical therapy, for occupational therapy, to help them become more independent, rather than stopping any kind of funding because, in their eyes, they're managing to survive. And that's not what a spinal cord injury patient should be doing. They should be living and not surviving.
This completely changed my path. I was no longer in New York. I had to come home. I needed help being taken care of. And I had to stop. I couldn't take my classes anymore. I had to focus on my health. I had to focus on PT. And then when I finally started to get back into it, things were different. My voice is no longer the same. My lung capacity is no longer the same. So I had to retrain and relearn how to use that to project. My body is not the same. So moving and acting isn't. I have to adapt everything. And a lot of people they look at someone that's in a wheelchair and they're like, oh, she's in a wheelchair, she can use her hands, but I can't fully use my hands. So I had to adapt that as well. So it was all a big change.
When we were at Santa Clara Valley Medical Center with Joe during rehab, we met NorCal SCI, who are an amazing community of people who've been through this spinal cord injury, or who know people who have, or who just want to damn well help as much as they can. So that was a great community to be part of. They would visit the hospital every week, and I discovered all the resources that I could ever need to find out more about the injury, to find out who other people were I could talk to within that world, which was a totally new world to me.
In April, NorCal SCI extended an invitation to Tricia to join its board of directors.
When NorCal SCI invited me to join the board, I realized that to be part of a movement like that, whose sole purpose was to help provide resources for people like Joe, it was a no-brainer that I wanted to be involved in any way. I think the fact that I'm a parent and there were no parents currently on the board was really important to me, because I felt there needed to be a voice for people who had children, whatever age they might be, who've had spinal cord injuries, and I could offer some kind of perspective to NorCal SCI on what resources could help other parents. And being the parent of Joe, which is one of my greatest joys, it makes me feel very excited to be part of something that could help other parents in this way.
And yet, despite the many challenges that Joe has endured over the past 22 months, thanks to a supportive and loving family, she has begun to put the pieces of a once shattered life and body back together again. Though she's still relying on a wheelchair to get around, Joe has been able to regain some ability to walk assisted thanks to a lot of hard work and therapy. Additionally, she has taken part in 6 paid commercials for companies including Wells Fargo Bank. And more recently, Joe was able to experience adaptive body surfing for the first time since her injury during a family vacation in Hawaii. And judging from this picture, you can tell someone was having an awesome experience.
It was a really touching sequence. You know, we've known the Lawrences a long time now, but seeing that video, I've never seen it before, and even I had a tear in my eye.
Yeah, we met them back in the hospital in 2020, Nick, if you recall, when Joe was at Santa Clara for her rehab. So they're an incredibly tightly knit family with great supporters between Kevin and Tricia.
Yeah. So we're moving on to our next segment, and I think, as Colin said, if you get a spinal cord injury, how are you considered lucky? So let's see what Praveen's got to say.
On December 22nd, I was on vacation in Hawaii with my wife and our 2 children, Jaya and Sachin. We were enjoying a fun day at the beach when I was picked up by a big wave and thrown onto the sand head first. I found myself floating face down in shallow water, completely paralyzed from the neck down. Luckily, Rupa was close by and pulled me out of the water and onto the beach, saving my life. I was taken to Queens Medical Center in Honolulu, where they performed emergency surgery installing 2 titanium rods in my neck. Once stable, I was flown to Santa Clara Valley Medical Center to start 6 weeks of inpatient spinal cord injury rehabilitation. It was an unnerving time for me and my family because nobody knew for sure exactly what kind of recovery I could expect. At first, I couldn't move either of my arms and I could barely move my feet. But then some rays of hope appeared and I started to make steady progress day by day. I learned how to get around in a wheelchair, graduated to a walker before learning to walk with crutches. I met Nick and Franklin at the weekly SCI peer meetings and learned about the amazing work they were doing to support people just like me. I returned home where I received a further 6 weeks of intense in-home therapy. Today, my life is now approaching normal, and I clearly recognize that I'm one of the lucky ones. I can play tennis, go for a swim, and I even completed a 5K race a few weeks ago with my wife and daughter. I'm so fortunate to have a supportive family around me and to receive crucial therapy in the first several months after my injury. But I also know there are many others who suffer from this injury that don't have the health insurance or means to receive the same level of care I did. I'm living proof that with the right resources, not to mention a large slice of luck, amazing outcomes are possible. That's why I'm so proud to support NorCal SCI, because I know anyone who suffered from this injury deserves the opportunity to rebuild their life again, just like I did.
Well, Nick, Praveen has become a tremendous supporter in our vision, and we also want to thank his family and friends who came through big time on this evening. And we also want to acknowledge some of the other individuals that have experienced a spinal cord injury and have also become huge supporters of NorCal SCI, particularly Dan and Amy Scrivener and the entire Lions family. That's a big family, and they have been with us from the very beginning. So thank you to all of them.
Yeah, it really is incredible because to be honest, they actually get it. They understand the challenges, and they also recognize how fortunate they've been in their own recoveries. Not everybody experiences the return and the recovery that these families have experienced, and they understand it, and that's why they're some of our biggest supporters. We can't thank them enough. In this next segment, we're going to be introduced to 5 individuals who have benefited from the fantastic rehab capability in Sandy, Utah at NeuroWorks. We've actually sent 8 people who have benefited from it. And the question is, why do we need to send us to Utah?
In 2020, in the midst of a pandemic, some 750 Northern Californians experienced a spinal cord injury. Among these individuals, we came across 18-year-old Ethan Scott, trampoline accident, 36-year-old Jennifer Butler, car accident, 31-year-old Raymond Wu, a falling tree branch, 27-year-old Javon Stone, motorcycle accident, 43-year-old Chris Cow, passenger in a truck rollover. All with a significant spinal cord injury, all experiencing the typical minimum stays of 4 weeks in rehab, and all chasing one goal: more rehab opportunities in order to experience greater independence. In the past 12 months, thanks to your generosity, these 5 individuals were enrolled into a 5 to 9 week intense extended rehab program at NeuroWorks, a renowned spinal cord injury rehabilitation facility in Utah that we began working with in 2020. In NeuroWorks, we found a highly skilled rehabilitation facility with extensive experience and capacity to treat those with a spinal cord injury, offering intense therapy at their state-of-the-art facility and at an affordable cost. Overcoming paralysis after SCI is a long and arduous journey, requiring hundreds of hours of therapies and a little bit of luck. For every one of these 5 individuals who completed their stay, their overarching goal was greater independence, from being able to roll in their beds, to transferring in and out of their wheelchair, or to feeding themselves, all independently. We're proud that each and every one of them achieved their stated objectives for going to NeuroWorks. We can say without hesitation that none of these individuals would have had this opportunity to go to NeuroWorks without your continuous support.
I was able to train at the facility for 2 months. I was given PT, OT, and recreational therapy for 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. It was such an eye-opening experience, and I gained so much from it. I was able to strengthen my body and mind, wake up the weakened muscles from my injury, driving stimulation, learn new skills and enhance old ones. I was able to be in an environment where I could connect and learn from people who's going through the same thing I am. Thank you, NorCal SCI, and all the donors for giving me this much needed opportunity.
I would definitely have to say that it is a life-changing experience. Before I went to NeuroWorks, I didn't even know a lot of the things that they taught me. I didn't know a lot of the techniques, and I definitely wasn't strong enough to do a lot of things there. So with the donor support, it's life-changing. You know, it's life-changing. It's not anything that is to be taken lightly. So I would just say that, and with my own experience for sure, that I am appreciative, I'm thankful, and I hope that every person in my position could experience the same thing, because it helps. It was like, it did wonders. You know, I don't want to say it's a miracle because we're only human, but it was definitely something like that to me.
Good evening. I'm Dave Greenfield, board member at NorCal SCI. We've seen some really significant changes this year, moving from planning and architecting to the implementation phase in creating a critically needed SCI rehab facility right here in the Bay Area. The initial phase of our effort is primarily funded by you, our generous donors. The board has identified that for the sustainability and scalability of this ambitious undertaking, we must evolve from a pure donor-funded model to a hybrid model, consisting of grant funding, insurance, self-pay, and continued generous donations. Lots of exciting news will be coming in this area soon. What hasn't changed is our focus on financial transparency and optimal stewardship. I invite you to view our annual report at norcalsci.org, and I'd like to renew our board's commitment to accepting financial responsibility for all donor funds. I'd also like to invite you to consider joining our board if you have interest and passion in contributing to our mission. Feel free to contact me. Now let's watch our next segment, Broken Crayons, Still Color, to see the impact your generosity has made on one 9-year-old girl.
Good evening. My name is Arash Bayamaku. I'm a board member of NorCal SCI. I'm also a husband to a beautiful wife and a father of 2 equally beautiful young children. With every single person with a spinal cord injury that we come into contact, we strive to apply both our vision and mission within the support structure that we may provide them, and thanks to your support, this next segment simply underscores how we played a small role in accomplishing that goal. It is a story of a mother and daughter whose unshakable bond has not only withstood the many challenges of a spinal cord injury, but if anything, has allowed them to thrive.
Meet 9-year-old Emma Whaley. Just like many kids of her age, she had an active childhood, participating and excelling in horseback riding, figure skating, rock climbing, cooking, and gardening, along with a host of other activities that a kid of her age would be doing.
Coming home from ice skating practice, one evening we were hit by a truck. After I was released from the ICU, I got to stay with her and be with her, and there did come a point where we as a team, her doctors, her PT, and I had to talk to her about her injury. and had explained to her why she could not move her legs. And as heartbreaking and the most difficult thing I've ever had to do in my life to explain that to her, I made her a promise. I said that she will be able to do everything she did before. It just might look a little different, and that's okay. But that we're going to make sure that she can still enjoy the horseback riding, the being out on the ice, gardening, and that's all going to still happen. And that she's the same person, she's the same kid, and that it's okay if things look a little different, but we're going to do it together.
For Emma, though, there was more than just the spinal cord injury to endure. In the ensuing months, she began experiencing a rapid onset of osteoporosis, eventually leading to multiple, inexplicable leg fractures that brought her physical therapy to a complete halt. The many struggles that accompany a spinal cord injury can be overwhelming physically, mentally, and emotionally, and as a mom, Patricia was not immune to them.
I think the most difficult part of this process, her injury, is to Emma does suffer with a lot of abdominal pain at times, and as a parent you want to make things better. You want to take away that pain, and that is something that we haven't yet been able to do. And it's hard to see your child endure so much that most people won't ever have to at such a young age. She was 7 when she was injured, and is now 9. But I think the hardest thing is feeling like there's not the studies and the research involved in child spinal cord injuries. And so we struggle with finding specialized care for her, as well as continual therapy geared towards a child with a spinal cord injury.
Yet, despite the many challenges that this mother and daughter have experienced, their love for each other energizes them to not let Emma's disability define her.
She has gotten back into some adaptive rock climbing. She has done horseback riding. She did the holiday show on ice in her wheelchair, but has since moved to a Paralympic hockey sled to get back onto the ice. She also is doing archery.
I also go in the pool too, and I can still swim, but I've been practicing without a life vest, and I still wear it sometimes when I'm playing games with my dad in the pool.
She's really gotten into a lot of art as well. So she's done different media with crayons, and she illustrated a children's book that should be out in the fall. And then she had a wonderful opportunity, which we learned about through NorCal SCI, for a new exhibit they were doing called The Art of Disability. For that piece, she took her beads of courage that she got at UC Davis and made a really amazing collage. And each one of those beads is a specific procedure or event that has happened to her over a 3-month span. And so that'll be in the museum. I feel like with NorCal SCI, they've been such a good support in such a well-rounded fashion. Not only do we do their classes, which has engaged us in different cooking techniques, to nutrition, specifically for spinal cord injury, but we've also been able to get some medical equipment that we wouldn't have been able to afford. So we were graciously accepted a wonderful stair lift, which has allowed Emma to be able to go up and down the stairs without me having to carry her. Carrying her posed a risk of either me falling or her falling and causing more injury. So now Emma can go upstairs whenever she wants, have her enjoy her friend time upstairs as well. We have a hospital bed from their equipment program, and it has just allowed for us to be able to have those things that we wouldn't have been able to get. Also, the support we get from NorCal SCI has been wonderful, through educational articles on bones and osteoporosis to just having friends that we can call at any time. It's a wonderful group to be able to not only talk about the hardships that we face, but also realize that we're not alone and learn a lot from other people. It has been a really wonderful experience, and we've grown a lot of friendships from it.
NorCal SCI, I think, is very helpful. I'm still the same. I might do things differently, but I'm still the same Emma. Just treat me how I am, and don't be afraid. I'm just me.
And hello again, everyone. Our program tonight has demonstrated the dramatic impact a spinal cord injury has on individuals and their loved ones. More than 750 individuals in Northern California have experienced a spinal cord injury since last year, while the average length of stay in a rehab hospital plummeted down to 19 days from what used to be 60 days a mere 2 decades ago. Spinal cord injuries are hard and devastating, and with no cure in sight, our mission continues to focus on helping our community thrive and live productively. Last year, we announced the launch of our 522 Capital campaign, designed to raise a minimum of $500,000 by May of 2022 to help launch an extended rehabilitation facility in the Bay Area that would provide much needed additional intensive therapy for those with a new case of a spinal cord injury. Additionally, those with longer term injuries can also experience the many benefits of continuing activity-based therapies. We had made a commitment to seek out community partners to help deliver this program. I can report to you tonight that after several months of work, and despite our best efforts, we were unable to find any suitable partners who were prepared to provide the type of programs we were seeking at this time. That has now led us to pursue a path of launching our own facility, operated and run by us. To that end, we have assembled a committee of highly experienced individuals in various areas that we feel we would benefit from their expertise, including some incredibly talented therapists, a person with deep knowledge of insurance billing, a longtime supporter with decades of experience in managing financial and real estate interests, and our own committee of highly enthusiastic and supportive volunteers who have been developing the foundational plan for launching our facility. We have also been speaking with other similar facilities throughout the country, learning from their experiences and results. In particular, the co-founders of NeuroWorks have been our biggest supporters by sharing lessons and best practices they have learned over the past 15 to 20 years operating their organization. Prior to tonight, we had already raised $300,000 towards making our extended rehabilitation facility a reality, thanks to your generous support. Over the last year, we have developed a full implementation model and have an accurate cost of $600,000 for establishing the facility and fully funding the first 2 years of operation. The next 2 segments of our program are critical for making this vision a reality. We know we can count on your continuing generosity tonight to help us get closer to that remaining $300,000. Additionally, I hope we have demonstrated the various ways that we continue to support the spinal cord injury community in Northern California. All the vital programs you saw tonight have been made possible only through your generosity, and we will continue offering and even expanding on them while launching our much needed facility. Our goals are ambitious, and our organization is made of ambitious and capable individuals. Tonight you witnessed some incredible stories of resiliency, perseverance, and advancement, even when challenged by a life-changing event. We've always looked to you to inspire us, and you have always come through. I know we can count on your support over the next 2 segments to help us help our community rise to the many challenges of a spinal cord injury. Thank you for your time and support, not just tonight, but at all times. Colin, let's get things started, please.
What a compelling sequence of videos that was. That is what Inspire 2021 is all about.
Indeed, Nick. So this next segment was really the biggest part of our evening. It is our pledge segment. And thanks to our sponsors and donors, including Waymo Ride Hailing, Booster Fuel Mobile, Fueling, Heritage Bank of Commerce, and Permobil Foundation, along with a generous grant from Dan and Amy Scrivener, we were able to have a $50,000 matching pool of money. And thanks to the generosity of our supporters and donors, we more than doubled that match.
So more than doubled, Franklin. I just couldn't believe it. I thought last year was incredible. This was even better. Just couldn't believe it. Have to mention some of our biggest supporters who have been there from the very beginning. Brian King, again, great contributions. And we've got to call out the Shays. $20,000. Thank you, Michael and Megan.
Indeed, and a lot of $10,000, a lot of $5,000, a lot of thousands. So again, it was just an incredible demonstration of your support in our vision for the future of rehab in this part of the state.
Yeah, and if you're watching this video for the first time tonight and you've not contributed, it's not too late. Just go down to that link and make a contribution. If you're seeing that video for the first time, you've got to make a contribution. Really, you have to, because you can make a big difference.
Indeed. This last segment, promise you, this will be our last one, is a recap of all the programs that we completed in 2021, all thanks to your generosity. So let's take a quick look at it and come back with our final thoughts.
Through your generosity, NorCal SCI continues to make a positive impact in the SCI community. Our core programs, Road to Recovery, virtual consultations, care packages, virtual peer support, virtual meetups, donated medical equipment, and the virtual learning library. Our expanding social media presence, along with our website and weekly newsletter, keep our community informed and up to date with the latest services and resources. We are always there for the community. Our new initiatives, bringing much needed technology into the home and introducing adaptive cycling in the South Bay, show that there is so much more to do. More importantly, we are now taking concrete steps to provide the rehabilitation opportunities the newly injured need and deserve, so they have the opportunity to fully maximise their potential. As you have seen tonight, you are making a positive difference in the lives of Adrian, Roger, Raymond, Devin and Liesl, Cameron, Ruben, Jesse, Russell, Randy, Ethan, Jennifer, Javon, Chris, Emma, and so many, many more. NorCal SCI is truly unique in terms of the wide ranges of services and resources we offer, and we could not do it without your continued generosity. On behalf of the SCI community in Northern California, I just can't thank everyone tonight for your amazing, yes, amazing contributions. Your pledges have blown away all our expectations, and our community will only benefit from your incredible support. I've got a drink to that. So, I would invite you all to take another drink, and I'm going to pass you back to Colin for the segment you have all been waiting for. Yes, our live auction. Bid often, bid high, it's all for a great cause. So Colin did a fantastic job at this auction. We continue to raise more money, not just thanks to our many bidders, but also the people who donated these items. Thank you. $200,000, that's going to make a big impact.
It is, Nick. And as you heard, we have ambitious plans, and these plans, they are needed. They're much needed. From everything that you saw tonight, there's a great need out there. And thanks to your generosity, we will rise to those challenges and help meet those needs. So thank you again for your overwhelming outpour of generosity. Over $200,000 just blew past our wildest expectations. Thank you.
Yeah, individuals in Northern California are now going to start getting the rehabilitation they deserve to give them the platform they need. And you've done it tonight.
With that, I thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. safe travels to everybody who's out there, and thank you very much for your inspirational support for us this evening.